Hey guys, so today I'm going to be reading Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, chapter 13. If you haven't seen chapter 12 yet, I will link it in the description down below. So let's get started. Chapter 13. After cutting the dragon free, Minli's knife was dull, and the skin on her fingers and toes were wrinkled from having been in the dragon's lake of tears for so long. She was also very thirsty. The dragon offered to carry her to the freshwater stream. He knew the forest well. "You'll get there much faster," he said. Minli was a little doubtful about riding the dragon. It was one thing to climb on top of him while she was half covered by water. But now, dry on land, she realized how large he really was. The dragon was long as the street in front of Minli's house. If he stretched himself tip on his arms and legs, he was as tall as a bird's nest in the tree. She realized, even now, bending down for her, he was higher than her house. But he bent his elbow for her like a step, and with two hands she boosted herself up and then climbed onto his back. The round ball on the dragon's head was the size of a small melon, just big enough for her to wrap two hands around it. And she clutched it as the dragon began to move. It was faster, but not much. The dragon was nimble, but his large body was to constant maneuver around the trees and rocks, so it was awkward going. The constant jerking made Minli feel like she was riding a huge water buffalo. As the dragon ducked underneath the branches and swerved through the trees, Minli understood why most dragons flew. "Dragon," Minli asked suddenly, "how old are you?" "Old," the dragon said, and again it seemed to question he had never been asked before. "I don't know." "Well," Minli said, "how long have you been in this forest?" The dragon thought hard. "A long time," I told her. "I remember when a bird flew from the sky and dropped a peach tree onto the ground. I watched the pit grow into a tree, and the peaches fell from the tree, and more trees grew from the pits of those peaches until it became the grove of peach trees that the monkeys have now taken over." "He's very old," Minli thought to herself, imagining the growths of trees. Dragon must have been in his forest for hundreds of years. And she felt the pang of pity, and she imagined the dragon alone, unable to fly, endlessly, struggling between trees and branches. After picking up her things and drinking at the fresh water stream, Minli climbed back on the dragon's back. She soon fell asleep, her head on the dragon's ball and her hand holding her rice bowl. Noticing she was asleep, the dragon moved slowly and quietly. Even when the water from Minli's compass splashed and trickled down his nose, it was only when a loud shriek filled the forest that Minli woke. It was such a wild and harsh noise that she bolted up and her eyes opened in fear. "Do not worry," the dragon told her. "It's just the monkeys." And it was the monkeys. Even though the sun was dimming, Minli could still see the monkeys clamoring in the trees. Even though Minli could not count that many of them, their screaming made it sound as if there were thousands. "We are getting close to the peach trees," the dragon told Minli, "and they are getting angry." "Stop here," Minli said. She climbed off the dragon's back, and she could still see the monkeys through the leaves and branches, their bare teeth flashing. "Those peach trees are exactly the direction we want to go," Minli said. "We have to get past the monkeys." "I could still force my way through, but the monkeys would attack you," the dragon said. "I'm not sure if I could get through unharmed. Listen to them." The monkeys continued to scream. Minli covered her ears with her hands, but she could still hear them. It seemed like they were screeching, "Get away from here! Ours! Ours! All ours!" "You're right," Minli told the dragon. "They're not going to let us through." But you said that is the way the old man of the moon," said the dragon, "correct?" Minli nodded. The rock shrieks were starting to sound like hysterical laughter, getting louder and louder, like a volcano about to erupt. She looked from side to side, but the monkeys seemed to be everywhere. There was no way around them. "Then," the dragon said, "what are we going to do?" And that was the end of chapter 13. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like this video and subscribe down below. Stay tuned for chapter 14. Bye.